talk to people about what the day in the life is of that of a sales development rep or a business development rep, Taylor.
Yeah, I mean, your day really looks like you managing your time to focus on different things that need to be accomplished to manage all of those leads that you're generating. And so, like for me, my day to day looks like first thing in the morning, I may spend the first 30 minutes just kind of going through my email since I don't have heavy email outreach. So it's quicker for me to just knock it out in the morning time, see if I got any response for my email. And then the next 2 hours, I'm just cold calling, outreach. Then after that, I may start concentrating on follow ups. What are some of the, leads that may be falling through the cracks? Some people I haven't followed up with in a while that, I need to, kind of check their temperature, see if they're, maybe they told me no and hung up on me the first time. But I'm just like, hey, maybe they were having a bad day. Let me call these people and see, if they change their mind. And then, the rest of the day is really, I'm prepping for my next day for success for the next day. So I'm, adding more people to the pipeline. I'm trying to clean up my CRM, which we can, I guess that's another thing I have to explain, cleaning things up. Maybe I may meet with one of my account executives if there's like a deal that or a certain prospect that maybe I'm having trouble, getting them to get on board and to get to the next steps. And I may reach out to my account executives to get some help on maybe overcoming some objectives they're throwing my way, or getting a little bit more knowledge on products or competitors so that I can have a better conversation with the prospect. And really, that's what my day to day is looking like. In my current role.
Very good. And tell me this, Taylor, is your role fully remote, or are you actually working into the office? Talk about that.
Yeah, so right now my role is fully remote. My headquarters for my job is actually out in Utah, and I'm located in Texas. I'm glad it is that way because they just started making people come back to the office, and I'm like, I kind of missed that. I'm like, yes, I don't have to go there. But honestly, I wouldn't mind doing a hybrid role, just because of the training that you get, that in-person training that you get with hybrid. I wouldn't mind doing a hybrid role.
No, that's you're right. I think in early stages, Taylor, in my experience, I think when you're new to a company and new to a role, it's always good to be around people that are executing that, right? Because as people, we learn from looking at the behaviors of others and seeing the behaviors of others and seeing how people adapt. And one of the things that I've seen now managing smaller teams and such is that you don't get up to speed as fast anymore when you're fully remote, because you don't get to see those side conversations that are happening at, when you're walking down the hall. I just went to the office on yesterday, and one of the things that I was talking to a VP of sales about is what are the challenges that they're having right now in their organization, right? And I wouldn't have had that conversation if I wasn't in the office, because first of all, I wouldn't have saw him, right? And, I wouldn't have went into his office just to say hi and to catch up with him. But the fact that I was able to see him and then sit down with him, I learned a lot, right? And I think that's the same exact way when you have young people who are coming to a company or coming into a new role. They can ask the questions, and they have to be able to get put into positions where they get the chance to see people executing and performing those roles. And when they do that, they're going to come up to speed a lot faster. Don't get me wrong. There's a huge benefit of working remote. But I think when you're first coming up to speed on a role in a job, yes, you can do it fully remote. Absolutely. However, if you wanted to come up to speed fast, that's where the hybrid model will be very, very convenient, right? You can go into the office, see somebody, go and talk to that VP of sales, go and talk to that other SDR, BDR, or the account executive, take them to dinner. Sit with them, Learn what they're doing. That's how you typically get promoted fast as well too. Let's talk about this now, Taylor. You already explained the role of a BDR and what you do. Talk about how you transition to that role, because you mentioned, hey, you know what? I was in customer service jobs. I was like, I got to figure something out. I'm doing some coaching. You're doing life coaching. And you had this epiphany, like, I got to figure out a career for myself. How can how can women in particular transition into a role that will pay them well, like tech sales, a role that will allow them to work remote, like tech sales, right? And has all these benefits. How can a person transition to tech sales like you have? Talk about that.
Yeah, you first have to really, I say a lot of people don't make changes in their lives until you're really just sick and tired of your situation. So how tired of you are of being broke and not really having the things that you desire, that that you want, the life that you want. For me, I had reached that point. And so I had to make a decision. So that's where it really starts, with just making that decision that, I'm going to make this change, and I don't care what obstacles get in the way. I'm going to do it. And so that's mentally, that's where I got to. I just really was, at a point where I was like, I have to take a leap of faith, and, if all fails, then all fails. At least I tried. Right. And so, really, anybody can really transition into tech sales. Just because, we all in our life experiences have built something, whether it's a skill, whether it's a certain type of mentality, that can transition well into the tech sales space. And really, it's just about you being able to highlight those things and being able to realize and say, you know what? No, maybe I don't have sales experience per se, but, I worked in, maybe I was a teacher, right? And I had to teach these preschoolers how to do X, Y, and Z. And, that's good communication, right? You're an adult trying to talk to 4 or 5-year-olds and get a message clear across to them, right? And so it really doesn't matter where you're coming from in your background. The most important thing is being able to highlight those transferable skills, and also not just for the employer, but for yourself, because, I forget what they call it, imposter syndrome is a real thing. And so you say to yourself, I can't, be in a sales role making $100K a year. Like, I've never sold anything before. And it's just like, no, go for it. Because you know what? Some of these companies, these tech companies, they hire people just because they got a bachelor's degree, but they don't know crap about selling anything. Right. So if somebody that's coming from college, you don't learn how to sell in college. You just don't. Right. So they're willing to take a chance on these people who a lot of them don't have any work experience at all. You have work experience. You've been through some stuff. You can definitely get into a tech sales role and do a good job at it as well. And so, one of the things that you have to do as well is you have to adopt a growth mindset. You have to really adopt a growth mindset. And this is what's holding so many women back from transitioning and getting into some of these high paying roles, is because they convince themselves that this doesn't fit my personality. This doesn't, I don't even like people like that. Neither do I. But for $100-something thousand a year, $200-something thousand a year, I freaking love people. You know what I mean? So it's like, like, you got to get out of that mindset of letting your beliefs about yourself get in the way of you accomplishing something and creating a life that you honestly deserve and that you desire.
I love it. I love it, Taylor.